The Second Coming of Bruno. Going to the bullring, Antonio Guillermo del Toro strutted like a rooster with a breast of gold and a midnight coxcomb cap and short cape that flew out behind him in black, sparkling with embroidery in gold and red that recalled the old movie Blood and Sand. It wouldn't end well. That was a given. But he would look good for as long as he could. He would love and he would fight, and many a bull would go down, skewered on his estoque. He enjoyed strutting, liked to be seen in the sun. Beneath him, his shadow pool, his second cape that never needed washing, no matter how often he stepped on it, the eyes of the multitude upon him. In those moments, he felt more than alive. He felt immortal. And he was immortal, never to be forgotten by those who saw him, made eternal on those posters depicting him at his height, with all his powers, terrible of countenance, brooding, godlike. He tripped only once, at the age of 28, on that second cape, and the bull they called Bruno the Magnificent got him in the kidney, ripping out his right side. On a stretcher, he was carried out to the waiting ambulance, but it was clear that not much could be done to save him. In the hospital, under the lights, the surgeons beside him, he heard them say they thought he was fully under sedation, or if not, they thought it good for him to hear. "Ridiculous," said a man. "Primitive," said a woman. "How many have to die?" "The poor bull," said the woman. "It won, and still they took its life. What kind of win is that?" Then the light was pink, as if he were being born again, and he floated above those gathered in the room. With a ghostly arm, he jabbed at the surgeon, who had first spoken so cavalierly as he had lain there dying. He stabbed as if his arm were his sword, sticking it in the surgeon's head, into his gut, into his back, from above, going down. The surgeon moved as if jolted. "Too many hours on this hopeless case," he said. "My body is protesting." "Nerves shot," said the second surgeon, the one who had lamented the bull, a woman with supernova eyes that the ghost of Antonio Guillermo found entrancing. She was a whole universe unto herself. This he could see from his new vantage. To kiss her and then to get his revenge, that was all he wanted. But upon whom? On what? Anyway, it was too late. He was not done with life, but life was done with him. He saw next yellow eternity and understood intuitively that this was what immortality looked like. Not glory, but rather endless vistas that faded around the edges. Not chambers of celebration, but indefinite locales, non-locales. He saw none of his ancestors, nor did he see demons standing by to plunge pitchforks into his flesh. And then he was the bull, and he saw that death was an illusion, but only for a moment did Antonio Guillermo del Toro know this, as a baby bull, barely able to stand on his own, dripping with embryonic fluid. It was an understanding like that which comes in dreams, fading to become slowly, inevitably forgotten. He looked around, his legs trembling from cold or terror. Standing nearby, the boy who cleaned the stalls and paddock considered him. The boy's name was Bruno. "I will be a matador one day," he said, looking on the baby bull Antonio Guillermo. "And though it will pain me to do it, I will meet you in the ring, and you will die in the sun before all the world to see. And I will be magnificent, and so they will call me, and you will be dead." Antonio Guillermo gave a garbled cry. "It's funny," said Bruno. "You sound almost like a child. You understand me, don't you?" Antonio Guillermo pawed the straw upon the ground. He snorted, a childish snort. His fear fled before a newly refreshed anger, a tinge of red coloring his eyes. With each passing day, the boy came to clean his stall, and as the bull Antonio Guillermo grew, he cast away his youth, forgetting other lives, knowing only one thing, the promise of vengeance that stood before him in the future, his enemy named Fate, or passing days, or a boy named Bruno. "You still have years to live," said the boy, patting him on the shoulder. Then, later, he could not count the days or understand time's passage. "You may have horns now, and your bloodshot eyes have hatred in them, but still you will die. The time is coming now. No longer are years yours, but months." Then days, and then the day was upon him. The boy, no longer a boy, the baby bull, now full grown. In the arena they met. It was a classic case, a day foreordained, much like those that had been written of and seen before, a day that would be repeated till the end of time. The matador waved his hat, bowed, flashed his cape. The sun sparkled in his eyes. He beckoned to Antonio Guillermo del Toro, who no longer knew his name. The bull puffed from his nostrils. He stamped up clouds of dust. He charged at the red swinging cape on a stick, at the matador behind it, remembering vaguely something. This all felt so familiar. The first prick of the sword was a memory. He had done all this before, but where? But when? He was bleeding now, but it was a trickle, a tear of blood. Like a drop of rain that promised a torrent, a storm. His shadow below him, a pool of all that he had forgotten, a reservoir that held memories and secrets and dreams. He trampled it. He pounded it into the earth of the ring. His horns were sharp. He knew that. He sensed an opening and went for it. Kidneys. But rather than touch flesh, he touched air and was burned by steel. He fell to his knees. He howled. He spit. He roared. Bruno laughed. "How do you like that?" Antonio Guillermo stood, his legs at the knees quivering. His vision was pink. Cheering filled his ears, the roar of an ocean he had never seen, and the existence of which was to him only the memory of a memory. With the last of his strength, he went for the matador, catching him in the leg. It felt good to pierce flesh, to christen his horn with liquid life. The man was no longer smirking. Now fear gazed out. And as the man went down, pounding that shadow beneath him into dust, the bull Antonio Guillermo gored him, first one horn, and then the other, plunging into the bowels of the boy who had become a man they called Bruno the Magnificent. There were those in the shady side of the arena, the older ones, who remembered, who had known the earlier Bruno. And they knew the name as an echo, a repetition, and they knew that death came to us all, bulls and men. And as the one who had once been Antonio Guillermo del Toro sipped the blood of his vengeance, a rusty bitter taste on the bull's tongue, he felt and knew the sword of the toreador's seconds. As he was put to death, having won, he lost. And, again, he saw the world turn yellow, at first on the edges, along the ring of the arena, and the yellow encroached, tiptoeing like a friend playing a game without an end, and his eyes met those of Bruno, and he recognized himself in them, reflected, now bull, now man, glorious, immortal, and doomed.